First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us today. Of course, we are live streaming here every weekday starting at 1. I wanted to start though with that. That is a shot of the Tillicum Bridge there in downtown Portland, and not too far from there, across from where we're looking at, are the Zidell Yards. I'm going to be discussing that here as part of the show today. But again, we are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We're across a number of different platforms, so thanks for finding us. Don't forget, you can always watch these segments afterward and share them as well on whatever platform you are on. Right now, we're talking about a big event coming up this weekend that is to celebrate handmade bicycles. Of course, there are so many bike enthusiasts. The bicycle culture here is huge, and this is specifically about celebrating a lot of that. And it's called Made. And joining us right now to talk all about it, we have the co-founder, Billy Sinkford, who is here to discuss this and tell us about it. And, you know, Billy, thank you very much for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. I'm sure there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to get ready for this big event. But to give everybody some context, can you tell us about this and what made you want to found this event?
Be my pleasure. Greg, thank you for having me. Fantastic opportunity, and we're thrilled to have Made taking place for its second year here in Portland, Oregon. It's a wonderful show. This is celebrating the art and craft of frame building. So this is not a specialized that you would go pick up at a local bike shop. Every single one of the hundreds and hundreds of handmade bikes that are going to be inside the show from around the globe are all made to measure specifically for an individual consumer. They get to pick the components that go on them, and then kind of the fun part is they get to pick the paint scheme and have the bike truly made just for them. So it's a bit of a different segment of the cycling world, something that you normally don't see. You might see one out of every 20 or 30 bikes that you're rolling by here in Portland is ending up being a handmade bike. But these are really, really special machines, and the builders behind them are absolutely wonderful individuals, and we're thrilled to have hundreds of builders and brands coming to Portland from all over the globe.
I mean, I think it's just so interesting of what a huge industry that is, that there's hundreds, of vendors, as you mentioned, and brands that are going to be here showing up in Portland to celebrate this. What do you think it is about the handmade bicycle, like something that's custom made like that makes it so attractive for these people who are into this?
If you live and breathe cycling, or if you happen to have very odd proportions, like I'm a pretty tall guy, all of my bikes are custom. I have very specific measurements that I would not fit very, very well on a stock bicycle frame that you would go into a shop like Cycle Path here in Portland, or River City Bicycles, some of the larger shops, or Metropolis. They've all got bikes that are made by these big manufacturers, but there are people that really want to dive deep down the rabbit hole, and they get really, really excited about the bike and making it absolutely their own. And it becomes part functional art as well as the best bicycle that they've ever had in their entire life that was made specifically by them. And I think one of the coolest parts, and certainly the bikes that I have had made, were all made. I'm very, very fortunate that my friends are the builders, so I get to have a bike made that's by my friend. But there's a very deep emotional connection between the customer and the builder, and then the end product, the bicycle. So it's taking cycling to a whole new level. And the bikes that are going to be down here shown at Zidell Yards this upcoming weekend are all going to be absolute one-off masterpieces that you'll never be able to see this many of them in the flesh unless you come down and check out the show.
That's pretty incredible that are all going to be down there for people to see and view and get an idea of that. And perhaps people out there, who you mentioned, like yourself, who like a custom bike is what works for you because of that side, but then also that artwork side. And I think that's a really important component of this. So when you look at it like that, when we're talking about all of these different vendors and these people, vendor may not be the right word, but the people who are creating the bicycles, when they're coming into town, you get to see all of that. And you're talking about artwork. Can you give us a description of what we're talking about with that, other than an expression of a paint job or something like that? What is it about the art of the bicycle that stands out?
Well, the frame itself is going to look a very specific way based off the size that it's built for. But really, when we start talking about the finish, I always lump things into two things where you've got form and function, right? So you've got the function, which is the bike is actually tailored for you. And even if you fit on a stock size bicycle, you're never going to fit absolutely, one in a couple hundred people fit perfectly on that bike. So to get something that's made for you, it is going to perform better. It's going to ride better. It's going to give you an amazing ride experience. But when we get down to the finish side of things, that's where things really get fun. And it is the paint. It's also the components. There are bikes down here where the components have actually been completely stripped and then repainted to match the frame itself. So the level of detail and craftsmanship that's going into this is outstanding, not only from the people that are welding the bikes, the builders themselves, but from the talented people that are actually turning these into something that you would ride on the street. And the finish can be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, depending upon how deep down the rabbit hole you go. We're not talking about, oh, it's red, it's green. We're talking about custom pinstriping and adding your own personal elements to the bike where you can have your name added on there. You can have important details about your life. I mean, anything that you want put on that bicycle can be put on it for you. And that's simply an experience that you cannot get when you're buying a bike that's made by a big manufacturer, which is fantastic that we have so many wonderful options. But this is really going down the rabbit hole and making it all the way your own.
Yeah, somebody who just wants that customized piece of it to express it and express their art and all of that. Looking at it, from the event standpoint, from this, made, which is going on here, for the general person who's going to come in to this show to walk around and check all of this out, what can they expect as an experience of walking in the door?
Hopefully they're going to be 100% blown away from the moment that they walk through the gates at Zidell Yards to the moment they leave. We open to the public Friday at noon. Tickets are available at made.bike. We got the coolest URL on earth. So it totally fits with the vibe of our show. Tickets can be purchased in advance, and we will have a slight bump in ticket pricing as we get closer to the show. So those that would like to attend, it is in your best interest to go ahead and grab tickets now. But we're down at Zidell Yards, which for these builders, these are master craftsmen, craftswomen, and this venue could not be better suited for the builders themselves and for the brands that support them. We have a super gritty industrial backdrop inside the building. And then you have all these wonderful bikes that have come to life in this beautiful form. But if anybody follows along with a custom frame builder, they're watching behind the scenes of, melting metal to metal and making this bicycle happen. And it's kind of a gritty process before it becomes this beautiful finished bike that someone's riding down the street. So we have over 200 exhibitors and builders coming from across the globe from the far. We just threw a satellite show in Australia a few months ago. We have several builders coming from Australia. We have people from all over Europe, folks that are coming from Japan and Asia, from the far reaches of the globe. The builders that can make it here are coming here. So there are an awful lot of local Portland builders and brands as well. This is an amazing city for cycling, as you well know, Greg, but we've got local builders, and then we have people coming from the far stretches of the earth. We've got plenty of food options. We'll have beer on site being provided by Block 15 and Chris King Components. So once you come in, you can expect to spend the whole day here, and we've got you covered from the moment you come in until the moment you leave. And if you want to come and hang out all weekend long, we've got weekend passes as well. So we'll be here through Sunday at 4 p.m. And yeah, we hope to see as much of the Portland community, the Portland cycling community, and on top of all the wonderful builders and brands that are coming. There have been handmade shows going on for nearly 20 years here in the United States at this point, and there are dedicated, diehard cycling enthusiasts that are flying in from all over the country and all over the globe to attend this as well. So it should be extremely exciting, and we can't wait.
I love that. I mean, as you mentioned, from all reaches of the globe coming here to Portland for this, to be a part of this. What do you think it is about the city of Portland that makes it so welcoming for a cycling community like this, for the handmade bikes and for something like Made?
We simply have amazing cycling infrastructure within our city that is constantly being improved upon. that has brought tons and tons of bike brands to call Portland, Oregon their home. I already mentioned Chris King Components. They're one of the largest employers in the entire cycling industry in the United States. And then we've got tons and tons of frame builders here, Ahern Cycles, Breadwinner Cycles, tons of brands that have made and call Portland their home. I think that just fosters an amazing community. That and the fact that we all know, keep Portland weird, right? And what's weirder and cooler than not being involved in car culture and living your entire life by bicycle? So there are people that have really made that a part of their backbone and in their entire lives. And we have one of, if not the strongest cycling communities in the United States. And that to me is why throwing this show here made the most sense. I'm a Portland local, so I live here and wanted to throw it in my own city, but we did certainly look at other major areas, and Portland made the most sense. It is simply the most bike-friendly city in the United States.
And how does it feel for you, going on year 2 here? So obviously last year was so successful. This year, clearly amazing with all of these people coming in. What does it feel like to be able to put on something like this 2 years in a row?
This is an absolute dream. So on top of Made here in Portland, Oregon, and also in San Francisco, we run Echoes Communications, which is a PR and marketing firm that kind of specializes in the active outdoors. And we started in cycling and have always been in cycling for the last almost 15 years at this point. I'm so humbled and so honored to be able to help facilitate this at the request of the builders. So kind of maybe 10, 12 years ago, we had the idea of putting this together, and there already were things in place that were facilitating the needs of the builders. And that kind of all fell apart just before the pandemic. And the builder community, several members of it asked us if we would be able to bring this to life and to take the torch up. And we jumped at the opportunity and said yes right away, and have been nothing but boots on the ground, full steam ahead, and have kind of thrown our whole agency weight and energy and effort and connections to make this happen. But we're able to bring folks such as yourself from the media and then the cycling media because of what we do. So not only are we talking about this here locally, but we're going to have media outlets from all over the world that are covering this. We also know all the builders because we work with them. So we're able to bring everybody underneath one roof, and it's an absolute joy, life dream, and a pinch me moment for sure.
Well, congratulations, on that, and also, just creating something like this. That's obviously such a valuable thing for everybody who's a part of it, from the builders themselves to the people who are going to attend, the city of Portland, and the biking community as well. So, congrats. And again, this weekend, let's give everybody one more chance to just, I know you mentioned it, that's a really sweet URL that you have. Where is it that people can go?
Made.bike, and you can get tickets right there on the site. We're down at Zidell Yards right on the Portland waterfront, and we have a full weekend of programming. We have evening events that are going on, movie screenings. So all of that information is on the website, and we hope to see as many people down here as possible. And if you're into the social media thing, it's exactly the same at made.bike on Instagram, and you can find us there, and we'll be posting real-time updates about things that are going on at the show, as well as capturing the show in real time for those that are watching from afar or physically can't make it down. You can still experience and check it out by following along there.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now to talk about this and what you're bringing to town. It's definitely exciting, and I think now everybody, if you didn't know before, now you'll understand what's happening down there at Zidell Yards, to go down and check it out. And Billy, thank you very much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Greg, thank you very much for having me. If you're feeling frisky and you want to come down and check this out, by all means, let me know, and we'll go do a quick walkthrough together, and I'll show you what some of these bikes look like.
Love it. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, then I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks, Greg.
You bet. And for everybody who's watching live too, we are live streaming, and we're going to take a break here in just a second. We're going to come back at 1:30 p.m. We're going to be talking about the Burnside Bridge. There is a new design proposal that has passed a committee that is now being proposed. It's one singular design. We're going to talk about that, but what led up to it as well. And we want to get your thoughts. So we're going to be, again, live at 1:30 p.m. We're on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel. We're at kptv.com. Click on the Fox 12 Now tab, or of course the Fox 12 Oregon app. Lots of places, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, all that stuff. So plenty of places to find this and share it. But if you are watching live, I'll be back in just over 10 minutes. I'll talk to you then. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.